So Iris, we will start the yoga course in Mahasiddha in September 2026 for everyone who are interested to join. And since we are both the students in the yoga course and also will be the teachers in this course, shall we just make a little bit sharing and about why and how and what about this course?
Absolutely. Good idea.
Yeah. So for you, Iris, why do you like this course? Why do you like the yoga course?
For me, it was quite a revelation when I found this course, and because I had been practicing yoga before, I felt it brings some kind of balance, it brings some kind of harmony, it feels good. This is what I knew. It brings something deeper than I actually understand, really. And I had an intuition that yoga is more than physical positions that make you feel good. But I didn't know exactly how and what. And when I found this yoga course, for me, it was the answer to a lot of questions that I had, that I saw it's a path that actually makes you learn to live life in a spiritual way, that makes you understand how to use food in a healthy way, how to use your mind in a healthy way, how to evolve spiritually, and everything together somehow. And the postures that yoga offers, they are one of the tools to actually holistically integrate your whole life in a godly way. And for me, this was a huge gift to find an actual in-depth, integral approach to what yoga can be and what it was meant to be from the very beginning. Um, Anciently, that yoga was actually a practice that helps one reach the highest achievement in their life for what is possible for them somehow. And I felt that this course is exactly having that authentic, in-depth approach, which was a huge fulfillment to my soul, which was thirsty for something like this. And how about you, Deshna?
I was also practicing yoga before I joined the school. And I actually first joined the Tantra course. And for me, I didn't think about joining the yoga course because I thought, okay, I've learned like thousands of hours of yoga and the yoga teacher training thing. And what's the point to learn more about yoga? But surprisingly, when I was joining, it's by the end of the first year where they offer the initiation into this super special and auspicious initiation into what we call Laya Yoga, the hearing of the subtle sound, because I was very interested in sound in that time. And I thought, okay, they were just teaching yoga and yoga, asanas, yoga postures. But surprisingly, they're teaching all sorts of life wisdoms to guide us to enter this state of yoga of unity, which is fascinating for me. And I was even amazed how they were teaching yoga postures. Like for me, I've learned a lot, but when I joined this yoga course, I was so amazed. Like every week in the first 1 or 2 years, when we're learning the asanas, the yoga postures, like every week is like a huge advertisement for me. Like, wow, just this asana is so good. This posture is so good to practice, you know. And I learned really in depth about why to practice this asana and what effect on the body, on the energetical level, emotional level, what kind of inner state it can bring to me. And this is like such a new way and like a revealing way how to practice real yoga. I must say, it's like for me, what I've practiced before is more like gymnastic way how to play with this idea of yoga. But now I thought, well, this is yoga. Actually, I'm now really oozing into the real world of yoga. And later on, it becomes even more amazing. This journey of to understand myself, also from different angles, what is offered in this yoga course. Later, we will also share more, I think, of different chapters, like not only about the physical bodily posture, but also from more subtle ways, colors, the initiation into different traditions, like the angels, the Tibetan tradition and Chinese tradition, and so on. It becomes for me like a mirror from different angles to understand myself, like to really feel the gaps. And also it's so absolute, it's so somehow ultimate for me to be reminded that no matter which angle and which path we are approaching, it's always to the end of the journey, to the supreme absolute, to reach this ultimate state of liberation, of self-revelation. So for me, it's super fulfilling to be on the path with the family, with our spiritual community, and also be guided every week on this journey.
I can completely relate.
Yes, we are classmates.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, just to let you know, if you don't know, I was also very I really admire when I know that all the teachers here are so humble, because they're all the time learning and transforming, also as a student, and also just keep learning and growing when they are even a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And Iris, what are your favorite chapters in this yoga course?
Yes. Well, I can start by mentioning that actually in the very beginning, as you said, to learn all the asanas one by one, really in depth, gives you a lot of tools, actually. This feeling that I become very rich. This was actually in the first year, where you learn in depth how to practice the posture, what are the effects, how to go into it like into a meditation, how to focus, how energies are flowing. And to feel that you can practice in a very conscious way. I think this was the first favorite chapter for me, and that I really love to apply in my everyday life. And it was like a big nourishment, like I love food. I love eating. And this was like the best meal of the day. It felt like that, the yoga practice, the most nourishing on all the levels. And then actually, the deeper the course went, I had also my challenges or certain moments where some chapters were difficult for me to relate to, when it becomes very much about physics and how chemical things are structured in this universe, which for some might be very fascinating. For me, I had to go through that with more effort. But then when we reached at some point to the chapter of the angels, this is something that was also very enlightening for me, to actually learn about the different choirs of angels, how to contact them, how they exist, what they are, to know things that you think nobody in this life will actually teach you. It was often in the course like aha moments that you think there's knowledge that you wouldn't think is actually available, because this yoga course is sometimes referred to as like a university of yoga, actually, with many different faculties. So I felt that some faculties were challenging, some were exactly fitting to my being or my soul. And another chapter that I love very much is about really learning to awaken higher perception and to control the mind very well. This is related to the third eye, like the part of our being that can have a great awareness and lucidity. And at some point in the course, it's really in-depth exploration of how to awaken this kind of capacity that for some, yes, it leads to kind of paranormal abilities, but actually it also makes your life much more, you have a greater perspective, you can do many more things, you feel you as a human being become much more capable just by increasing your capacity to become very aware. So as basic as it may seem, as miraculous actually is the effect. So these are some things I can mention now. And how about you? What are your favorite chapters?
I definitely also love the yoga part. I mean, the yoga posture part. And similar as what you said, it's like we're learning tools every week. And it's just amazing to understand with each asana, each bodily posture, how we can just, operate our body and the energetical structure and the inner world in a way that we 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 learn this tool, and somehow we have like whole toolbox for us when we are upset, when we are angry, when we want to have more love and more peace, more focus. What we can do is just like so cool. What we can do with this toolbox. And I also like this chapter of the astral projection, just to name a few. It was very fascinating for me, and also because this course is somehow so charged and so supportive in a way. I always have these synchronicities when we started a new chapter and some situation happens in my life, and somehow when we were learning this astral projection chapter, I was able to really, really detach from my physical body and doing the astral exploration. And that was really, really fascinating for me. And to realize, to experience, well, we're really not only the physical reality, that's how we perceive in daily life, and to also have more detachment. Of course, that's not the end of the journey, but it's really a big revelation for me. I also love the angels chapter. And we learned different types of angels, and also from different mm, octaves, and how to connect to them, different methods. And I remember that year is full of angelic embrace and just the presence. It was just so wonderful. And also this chapter of awakening of the soul. It was also very beautiful for me to have this period, especially very focused on this feeling and the living from the level of the soul, the heart. Yeah, but a lot. Just to name a few. And for you, do you feel there's some, I mean, we are now like both of us in year 9 yoga, and soon we will enter year 10. In the past 9 years, do you feel there's some landmarks on this journey of being in this course?
Yes. It's a beautiful question and a good moment for reflection. I feel that the first years was perhaps very much about coming into balance, learning how to deal with anxiety. I used to be anxious quite easily, or overwhelmed, or emotionally very sensitive. And I feel in the first years was understanding myself, getting to know my own structure, to know, oh, I am built in a certain way. I have certain openness in some areas, certain uh, triggers in another area, and to really get to know myself, getting to know a very in-depth map of my being. And then that first years was about learning to come into harmony with the structure that I have, to learn how to deal with anxiety, with being overly sensitive, so that actually I can use it to my advantage instead of something that takes me out very easily. And I feel after some years to actually feel, wow, I'm grounded, I'm stable, I'm confident, I know how to control my sensitivity was a huge revelation. I didn't know was possible. You think you are a certain way this life and that's it. But no, it's something you can really learn to control. So perhaps first the control over my own being. And then from there, it started a new landmark of awakening, finding out, whoa, there's so much more to this life, to this universe, to myself than I knew. To find out there's a whole godly part to this existence, that there's a source of this creation that we can get to know, we can become intimate with, that we can find inside ourselves, we can explore. And this brought a lot of sacredness to my life, a lot of beauty, a lot of integration, feeling that my life became part of a greater symphony, often feeling that, I don't know, I'm with the forces of nature completely aligned and supported and held, and like a kind of love the child of this universe, that I felt my life became like a wonder. And from there, I feel a new chapter started, which was really discovering somehow the highest realization, to understand I am an immortal being, not as a philosophical concept, not as a theory that I learned, but something I realize, recognize, discover, even in my day-to-day life, that there were moments of really remembering somehow who I am beyond all beauty, change, fulfillment of this life. There is something beyond that, having connection to pure consciousness somehow. And that was a step in my journey that I wasn't even aiming for when I just started, because it started with searching for balance and harmony. And it led me much further than I would have thought in this way.
Very good.
How about for you? Thank you.
I can definitely relate to everything that you've said. Maybe I just make a little bit from a different angle. So for me, I of course love all the yoga and all the transformation that practicing yoga that brought to me. For me, one of the big thing is to understand, okay, there's a complete journey, not to just become a little bit happier, a little bit more loving and so on. I remember after being in the school on the path for a few months, and I came back to my home and I saw everyone is so beautiful and I have love for them, compassion for them. I'm just so happy. And I just didn't know what else can I do to continue the journey? Why should I continue if I'm already in a very, happy, blissful state? So I asked my teacher, actually, I was reminded by being asked by someone recently why, what to do, what else to do, from there. And my teacher told me that now you already smell the fragrance of the rose, but you are not yet in the rose garden. So you just need to work continuous to walk to really arrive there, to be in the rose garden, not just to have a taste or just whatever from time to time experience. So I understand, okay, there's something more to do. And more and more I start to feel this awakening of the soul, and also I feel so much longing, to be with the true self of who I really am. So it becomes like a huge aspiration for me to continue to know myself, to know something that is pointing towards me, not towards everything, anybody outside there. And I must say, maybe this is something that you might also expect, is when I first joined the school, I heard from some of my elder, colleagues who told me, in year 4, you will learn this big technique of revealing the past life. I must confess that it was like a big expectation for me to at least continue the course until the 4th year to get that initiation. And it was a really beautiful journey to learn, their past lives and also their evidence, why and how, and their techniques, even by some certain modulation in the consciousness to really to go there and to somehow not to just to show off. I mean, well, you look how amazing I was before, but to really understand our lessons and who we were, and from there, how we can also make use of what we've already learned in the past life, and also to really even more to understand what our lessons and to continue the journey. And I was so looking forward, and I was really, really, even like you said, there's some chapters that I couldn't connect with before year 4, of course. But I was really, really keeping myself going on until that moment when we learned this technique. And it's beautiful, and also it's transforming to just go through this whole process. So this is something that I think the first biggest landmark for me.
Yes. So now everyone has something to look forward to, the ones who joined.
Exactly.
And why are you passionate to teach this course?
This is also a good question. I feel first I really want to share. I want to share what has been so beneficial for me. And I feel also there's certain longing, everybody's searching for something meaningful, even we might don't know this concept of liberation, enlightenment, or whatever, samadhi, but people are searching for happiness, for love, for peace, for harmony and balance, and so on. And what we've been learning in this yoga course will provide tremendous help and support, understandings, but also practical methods, how we can really have a better life, and not to mention even to reach the final destination of self-revelation. And so I feel this is my passion and also compassion to do. And I feel it's like to be a student and also to be a teacher is something that is facilitating each other to really see, what I've transformed and how I have experienced in my life, on my path, and also to be reflected in a way, how I can help others, how they can give me feedback, and also by teaching, I'm also learning even more myself. So this is why I'm passionate about this. What about you, Iris?
What to add? For me, I also feel that it gives people a great opportunity to have an actual spiritual community. That sometimes we find some workshops, we learn something, and then we go to our normal friends and we don't know how to share it there, or we don't have this embedded feeling of somehow being supported by like-minded people who are really systematically growing and being passionate about that self-development structurally somehow. And I feel that this course also really gives that. Yes, you get techniques. Yes, you practice at home. Yes, you have your personal journey, but we're doing it all together. And somehow you feel there's even a field on this planet of practitioners who have really been walking a path. And this is something that now in the modern world, we've lost quite a lot. And it's very popular to be your own teacher somehow. But actually, we've become a bit ignorant to the fact that we do need support and guidance and community, and the mirrors they offer, the support they offer, the like-minded aspiration they can nourish in us. And I think this is a great value because this course will attract real practitioners, and this is actually a great necessity to find them, to share the journey with once we really start walking. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel by sharing all of this is also helping us to really reflect on where we are at and why we are on the path. It's very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to share a bit, just to introduce a bit about this course for people who want to join?
Yes, so it's an integral yoga course that takes place once a week, every week throughout the entire year. The class is about 2.5 hours, which includes 1.5 hour of yoga practice, including postures, warming up exercises at certain moments, breathing exercises, meditations. all kinds of practice, and then an hour of theory, which will include many different topics related to yoga, which is basically related to all aspects of life and of this universe that you will study in depth. You also receive written course material that goes even more in depth that you can study at home. And the classes are online on Zoom, where we practice together, creating this community together, and getting to know ourselves more and more deeply, week by week, in this way.
Yeah, maybe also just to mention, for those who don't know, we also have initiations. It's like a very special moment where we transmit some secret knowledge or power, you can even say, to the aspirant, the student. With for example, some esoteric knowledge, methods, or even secret mantras, as we will have this, like I mentioned, Laya Yoga technique to meditate with a secret mantra, subtle sound. And we will have also in the yoga course, with this Mahasiddha tradition, where we will introduce all the great macrocosmic powers as a personalized representation as goddesses, but also is like a universal energy, like the energy of love, of compassion, of discipline, of space and time, even death and transformation and so on. So to work with all of this, you can get this initiation into the mantra of this Mahavidya, this goddess, and to really assimilate the energy. Somehow it's like a modulation of your inner universe, like a configuration.
Yes, good to mention that. And indeed, there will be many more methods and enlightening techniques that you will learn throughout the years that are pretty mind-blowing and that are probably even hard for us to introduce now because, you will have a preparation until then.
Look forward for everything that will come. Yes.
And you feel this course is for?
I feel even for people who just who are interested in learning yoga, yoga postures is already something. I was a yoga teacher already before the path, and I was teaching yoga. I attended quite some teacher training, and I must say what I've learned here within a few months is more than what I've learned in this 200 hours, 300 hours teacher training, because it's in depth and it's really going through all the layers and the dimensions to understand one asana, one bodily posture. So even you're interested in yoga, even you're not interested in anything else, what we have mentioned is already a treasure to just study this course. And for people who already have some awakening, for example, maybe like I mentioned, for the astral exploration, for the subtle colors, even for some intuition, supramental, is also to be guided in this way to really understand the depth of our consciousness, of our existence. So, yeah, I totally agree with what you said. We really need guidance. Yeah, we think we know something, but there's something that is deeper that needs to be revealed by someone who have walked the path and who maybe even climbed onto the top of the mountain. So I feel either for the beginners or for people who already have been on a path for some time or have some maybe confusions or need some glass ceilings or just want to deepen or even want to all the way get to liberation. This is the course for you. You want to add something?
I totally agree. That thing I could only think of adding is also those who have a interest somehow in all spiritual traditions, who don't really want to choose and feel like, but I want to understand Taoism, I want to understand Christianity, I want to understand Tibetan Buddhism, I want to understand Tantra. Because actually, in this yoga course, it will show you the path to union, even integrating a lot of the esoteric knowledge from all spiritual traditions. Because it's somehow showing that, in essence, the heart of any authentic spiritual path is universal. It's somehow made of the same essence, even in a different shape, a different nuance. So if you are also really curious just to explore spirituality from all angles, this course can also be a wonderful opportunity to find out more about that.
Yes, I agree.
So how can people join?
How can people join? That's a good question. It's very important to know. Yes, so we will start from September, and it will be every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Thai time. You can also calculate into your local time. So you can check on our website. There's a button to click to sign up. I guess this is the way, and you can also write an email to us or on Facebook, or don't know, however you can reach us. We will also post some links here, and you can contact us or just sign up directly from the website. Is correct?
Yes, and we'll have a free trial class on the 15th of September. So if you first want to feel what it's like and try it out, then come and join us then.
Yes, you're very, very welcome to join us.
And maybe good for people to know also that if you miss a class, we can always provide a recording also. And in this way, you can always catch up.
Yes.
Good. Thank you, Deshna.
Thank you, Iris. I'm very happy that we will have this mission, this purpose together to share this wonderful course with other people who are aspired.
Me too. Yes. Looking forward to see who will be with us.
Yes. Looking forward to seeing you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.